But I would do a family reunion once a year.
Yes, okay, so I think I would be open to doing some sort of family reunion thing. I don't think it would be too incredibly awkward. I would do a family reunion again, just to get the kids together. Absolutely. I wouldn't have great conversations with Meri or Robyn or Kody. I feel like doing something like that when things aren't resolved and worked through is just asking for trouble and fights.
Robyn, always so dedicated to keeping the family together. Poor thing, really. She's working so hard to glue this dysfunctional circus and the big picture, whatever that even means, into something resembling a family. It's heartbreaking, honestly. But here's the thing. Robyn's version of family reunions is just her playing the martyr while everyone else actually tries to make things work. Newsflash, Robyn's problem is that she avoids anything that might actually resolve the issues. She's not interested in solutions. Nope, she's content in her cozy little pod, cutting everyone off, pretending like the family isn't spiraling into chaos. The other moms, they miss the big family gatherings. They would absolutely put aside their awkward feelings just to have everyone in one room again. But Robyn, she can win the battle and still manage to act like the world's biggest victim. It's impressive, really. Honestly, I'm just waiting for Robyn to explain how she plans to actually fix anything. So far, it's just her sitting at home, lying to her kids about what the family's doing, while keeping everyone at arm's length. Engaging with the problem? Nah, too much work. Let's talk about Robyn's version of family unity. The real-life application of her whole "I'm all about family" mantra? Yeah, that's a joke. Invite the kids to Meri's house for Christmas. Nope, too scary. A family reunion where the kids can connect and bond, despite the drama with the parents. Oh, no thanks. That's just begging for a fight. So yeah, it's pretty clear. It's all talk. And don't even get me started on her idea of working through things. Her solution? Everyone lines up to apologize to her and Kody, kiss the ring, and everything's fine. Just as long as they're all sweet about it. Anything less? Scary, not safe. The sad reality? This situation is never going to be resolved. The original wives and kids will have to heal on their own, and honestly, they're doing just fine. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn will never take accountability for their part in the family's collapse. In their eyes, they're the victims here. Classic. The real healing comes when you finally accept that nothing can be fixed, and you just move on. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Christine's heirloom. Yep, I saw on her Instagram yesterday that she and David now have an heirloom you can rent in Moab, UT. And I know that eats Kody up inside. I mean, all he ever blabs about is his dreams of rental properties and investments. But instead, he's stuck with a massive piece of land that's basically a glorified dirt patch. Because, surprise, surprise, he doesn't have the cash to actually develop it. Oh, and let's not forget his house full of knickknacks, precious moments figurines, overpriced Christmas villages, and art pieces that probably cost more than they're ever going to be worth. Classic Kody. Christine? She's living the dream. Success is definitely the best revenge, and I'm sure Kody's blood pressure spikes every time he sees how well she's doing now. He probably thought the only guy she could land would be some loser, right? Well, too bad for him, that's not the case. Meanwhile, the manosphere has this delightful little belief that women over 30, and single moms especially, are just used up, and should be grateful for any scrap of attention they get. Newsflash. What a bunch of whiny, delusional keyboard warriors say on the internet isn't reality. Kody could take a page out of Christine's book. Maybe he should go touch some trees instead of wasting time chopping them down for no reason. Anything that makes Kody's wives happy, except for Robyn, seems to drive him nuts. He went from being a guy who had nearly total control over everyone to having absolutely no control over anyone. His ego must be in tatters. And the best part? He spends all his cash on art and designer jewelry, which, spoiler alert, will probably never be worth what he paid for them. Instead of putting that money into something that'll give him a long-term return, he buys overpriced trinkets. Their whole collection of investments is a joke. It's like they're buying Beanie Babies and hoping they'll become valuable. Newsflash, no one's ever going to buy that garbage. It's like they see something listed online for a crazy price and think that means it's worth that much, without realizing there's a big difference between asking price and actual sale price. The whole thing just screams cluelessness. But hey, they don't have any money to invest anyway, because if they did, they need to be putting it into the property they already own. You know, like actually surveying, subdividing, running utilities, and building something. All of that takes money and planning. But no, instead, they waste it on junk. And let's be real, Kody's whole idea is that once Meri and Janelle are out, he'll start building those rental properties as his retirement plan, because, obviously, he's got no better ideas. So yeah, while Kody's off buying ridiculous stuff, I'm just over here enjoying the fact that Christine is making smart, solid financial decisions for her future. Good for her. The knife to the kidney moment. Kody really outdid himself there, didn't he? He's sitting there, ranting to Christine, calling their entire relationship a knife to the kidney after all these years. And the sheer audacity of him to even bring up kidneys, of all things, when we all remember it was his fault that truly nearly died. Talk about not knowing how to read the room. If there's one thing Kody has mastered, it's hypocrisy. Honestly, out of all the truly jaw-dropping, self-aware, crushing things Kody has said on the show, this line has to be in the top 10 of the most cringeworthy. And that's saying something, considering his whole conversation with Isabel before her surgery. Don't even get me started on that one. But let's be real, top 10 might not even be enough to capture the true depths of his cluelessness. But Christine just sat there, gazing off into the distance, letting Kody have his little rant. The calmness, the composure, she was done. Not even engaging with his insane nonsense anymore. She deserves a standing ovation for this. Bravo. She's out here giving zero energy to his drama, and it is everything. Also, did anyone else catch Kody's dramatic performance? He stands up, looks at the camera, moves himself into a better position, like he's getting ready to give an Oscar-winning speech before launching into his tantrum. It was like watching a bad actor rehearse a scene. And then, he drops that "sacrifices I made to love you" wasted line. Seriously? You say that to someone you claim to love? That's one of the most vile things you could say to someone you've supposedly cared for. It's not just cruel, it's borderline heartless. But honestly, the moment that sealed it for me was Meri's reaction. She's sitting there, nodding along, saying she's glad Kody said it. Like, seriously. As a viewer who's not even in the same room, the energy in that moment was so uncomfortable, I couldn't even imagine being part of that situation. There's no world where I would ever be glad to witness a man yell at a woman like that. It's beyond gross. Kody's out here getting some fresh air by the seaside, trying to recover from his brutal 99 degrees Fahrenheit fever. Honestly, the only thing missing is a nice cup of hot water to squeeze some lemon into. Because, of course, cold water is a complete deal breaker when you're recovering. Priorities, right? But hey, avoiding cold water is crucial to his recovery. He's barely holding on at 98.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Poor guy's practically on the edge of a medical emergency. At this rate, I predict a full recovery, maybe by the time Meri finishes high school. In the meantime, someone might want to change his pillowcase and deliver his 2:00 p.m. vitamin pills before he turns into a full-blown grumpy mess. Wow, the silence around here is almost loud enough to be a plot twist. I honestly thought we'd get a few sneaky spoilers about the new season to keep the hype alive, but nope, just crickets. Look, nothing personal about this sub, but I'm so ready for something new to talk about. I'm starting to lose interest, and frankly, I could use a little more than just the sound of silence. How about some real updates? Are we getting another season or just more of those couch interviews? What's the deal? I did love the couch interviews though. Honestly, more of those would be great, especially if we could get a few more throwbacks to remind us of what we're still watching for. If I had to guess, we'll probably get a lot of Christine's new relationship saga, some chaos around Mykelti's twins, and of course, more of Meri running the B&B. Let's just hope we don't get a whole lot of Kody and Robyn. Please, no more of that. What I'd actually love to see is more of Meri and Janelle navigating their separations. Maybe they could get into the nitty-gritty of their struggles. But honestly, unless the original 3 wives get their own spin-off, I'm over the constant repeat of the same old drama. Here's a thought. Maybe Kody's upset that David's getting screen time on his show. Imagine if TLC decided to give Christine and David more airtime than Kody and Robyn. Wouldn't that be hilarious? I just want to see Robyn sitting alone on her porch, listening to tumbleweeds roll by. Look, I'm not a hateful person, but if TLC doesn't start holding Kody and Robyn accountable, especially Robyn, then maybe it's time to just cut them loose. Enough of this, we won't answer questions, or our cameras can't go there nonsense. If you're not going to participate, then step off. I know it's never going to happen, but wouldn't it be amazing if Meri and Janelle just decided to get lawyers involved and finally get their fair share from Kody? I mean, after 18 seasons, I'm pretty sure they've earned that, right? Kody might not legally recognize them as wives, but come on, minus 18 seasons of being on camera? Let's be real, those assets should be split 4 ways: Meri, Janelle, Kody, and Robyn. Now, that's a show I would watch. I think this was Kody's grand master plan all along. Hold on, let me throw on my tinfoil hat for a second because I've had a thought. Kody was always going on about how much he loved his wives, how being married to them was such a beautiful thing. Fast forward a few seasons, and suddenly he's saying he was only ever in love with Robyn, and the others? Just a marriage of obligation. Well, what if he was actually being honest, and maybe, just maybe, this whole thing was his plan from the start, to get rid of all of them, while Robyn just took full advantage? Now, Kody's always talked about wanting a big family, tons of kids. But I'm thinking it wasn't so much about the family or the responsibility. It was more about stroking his ego. He wanted to impress other men, to show off his alpha status, like, look at me, I've got all these women who can't stop getting pregnant by me. And check out all these kids. More wives, more kids, more planets, or whatever the church promises. But once he realized he had to actually be involved in all of their lives and take care of his growing brood, that big family dream started looking a lot less glamorous. Suddenly, he didn't want more wives or kids. He wanted out. Enter Robyn, and boom, he's actually in love with her. Real soulmate stuff. So what does he do? He starts slowly taking away everything that makes a marriage, well, a marriage. Christine was already being neglected, especially when it came to quality time with her kids, something that was clear from the beginning. But when coronavirus hit, it was the perfect excuse for Kody to just cut her off. The rules were his, and Robyn was conveniently just protective enough to play along. He probably didn't even care that Christine left. If anything, it was about resources and control, or maybe he just pretended to care because it made him look better. Then there's Janelle, whose Achilles heel was always her kids. Kody knew exactly how to push her buttons, trying to divide her from her kids, telling them they had to apologize when they clearly weren't going to, and then pulling the rug out from under her, knowing she'd be too hurt to come back. Janelle was always fine being alone, so that worked out for him. And Meri? Oh, poor Meri. Kody tried everything with her, offering more kids, taking that back, love-bombing her, then abandoning her. He even went so far as to melt down the ring. The only reason he cared about the catfish scandal was because he thought she'd fight harder to keep him. In the end, he just waited her out, hoping she'd get tired of not being wanted. Anyway, that's my rant. Sorry it's so long, I needed something to do during quiet time lol. Here's the thing, Kody doesn't love anyone but himself. He's on a high from the way Robyn makes him feel, and she's just the perfect ego boost, making him feel like he's been vindicated from all those terrible people, the other wives and kids, who were demanding so much from him. People like Kody don't know what love is. If he actually loved Robyn, or had any shred of a good heart, he wouldn't treat his kids the way he does. Honestly, most bad people don't have a grand plan. They're just bad. But let's be real here, Robyn was the mastermind. She manipulated him into believing she was all he needed. From the get-go, she was demanding his time, intruding on his time with Meri, and, let's not forget, publicly admitting she wouldn't let him out of her sight. Family dinners? Gone. When Robyn joined the scene, she was suddenly this self-appointed marriage counselor, sticking her nose in everyone else's business. Oh, and don't get me started on the whole "my kids are needy" excuse, which was just a way to monopolize Kody's attention. Robyn is a manipulative genius, and Kody fell for it. Looking back, it's clear Kody was in way over his head, even before Robyn came along. But then, like a financial lifeline and a new ego boost, she showed up. A shiny new play toy who gave him a break from all his other responsibilities, and offered him a new purpose in life, leading a legalized polygamy campaign while acting on a reality show. It was a perfect storm for Kody. Honestly, I think Kody started wanting to be more like Robyn, just another sister wife who didn't come with all the baggage. I don't think he wanted the responsibility at all. I think he just wanted to be a dad, mostly to his sons, and then wash his hands of the whole thing. For a long time, he got away with a half-assed attempt at plural marriage. But once Robyn entered the picture, it was clear. Kody slid into monogamy like it was a new pair of shoes. He didn't want plural marriage anymore. He just wanted the money from the show and none of the responsibilities. I genuinely think Kody fell for Robyn, true love, and it made him realize that everything he thought was love for the past 16 to 20 years was really just lust turned into affection. He even said it on camera, that he understood how his dad felt when he found his soulmate and wanted to spend all his time with her. And guess who Kody's favorite was? Yep, Robyn. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, the coronavirus rules were never about coronavirus. It was Kody's excuse to push the OG3 and their kids away, and it let him go full monogamous with Robyn. If it had been about safety, Meri would have been invited over to the McMansion, yet she wasn't. Funny how that works, right? Coronavirus drama, classic. So why didn't they just have Christine and Robyn's families pot up together? I mean, they were already quarantining separately, and Kody was basically bouncing between just those two families anyway. It would have been super simple to let the kids play together, but hey, that would have required some logic. But no, instead we got the big coronavirus excuse parade. If the rules were really that strict, the nanny should have been sent packing immediately. They could have had Zoom calls every evening to stay connected. Bonfires outside 3 nights a week? Sure, why not? Masks? Simple. There were a million ways to make it work. But what happened? Instead of making it work, Robyn used this as the perfect opportunity to paint the other wives as untrustworthy. That's the key here. She spent years trying to make them look bad. Remember the stretch mark comment? But coronavirus was the golden ticket to push that narrative even further. Untrustworthy, which of course leads to the grand final, disloyalty. Let's be real, it was never about coronavirus. By now, that's pretty obvious. Kody was only around when he wanted to be. And honestly, I don't even think Robyn got as much quality time with him as everyone thinks. But instead of sticking together with the other wives, she absolutely played the situation to her advantage. Why? Because she doesn't trust them. And guess what? They don't trust her either. All this talk about deep connections, it's a load of nonsense. That former polygamous child with the blonde hair hit the nail on the head when she said they hate each other. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.